the doomsday situation is really what catches our eye, because everyone asks the question themselves, what would I do if this happened? If something happened to the government, something happened to the food in our country. People always like to have a plan, and so things like this help them come up with, all right, this would work, this might not work because of, and it gives us examples to build off of.
Bingo. Which is the beauty of, if you purchase the survival guide, that's the whole thing. What are the finite list of resources that would be particularly valuable? Do any of you sort of let yourself go there, just in general, or in the context of reading this book? What would I do? What's my survival plan? What would be the essential things? Tell me some of your plans. Unless, of course, telling means that your plan is compromised.
Yeah. You guys can know what I'm going to do.
One of the main things that you have to do is accept the fact that should there be that type of a social change, it would entirely change society, and you have to be ready to break a lot of the rules of society.
Every man for himself.
To go for it. Pretty much is.
Right. And that's where that cultural mythology piece comes in, I think, is that on some level, we're reduced to our lowest common denominator and basic instincts: food, water, shelter, survival. And what does that do to humanity, and particularly for us in the Western world, who were reared in a notion of government exists at the consent of the governed, right? We give them permission to govern us. We're voluntarily conceding certain freedoms for the sake of the greater good, because without certain limitations or boundaries, it's chaos. It's every man for himself across the board. Anarchy, essentially, is what it is. And I think we see little microbursts of anarchy and people who tend toward anarchy in various settings. You see that all the time when you have a meeting of the G8. Countries. You see it when you have a meeting of the International Monetary Fund board members. You see it with the World Bank meetings. Let's talk about that some. And I know some of you over here have something to say about all that. Do you have a plan? A hypothetical plan? What would you do? What are the essential top 5 resources you need to have?
Water.
Water? Food? Weapons, for as long as the ammunition holds out, and then you need something a little more primitive.
You still have to have weapons in the form of knives and stuff like that, because then you could still get your food and get your meat, and then you could cook it later on.
Okay.
In fact, melee weapons or bows with reusable ammo would probably be better, because
absolutely, because the other's a finite resource, right?